Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another video on the channel where today we're going to be looking at the 4-3-3-4. Now this is a formation that we haven't looked at for quite a long time. Obviously there's been a lot of updates and whatnot since, so we're going to start going over some of our older formations and just kind of re-looking at them. And I know there's a lot of formations you guys want me to cover as well, so we're going to be getting through those over the coming days and weeks. But today we're going to be looking at the 4-3-3-4. Now this was one of my favourite formations not too long ago. It's definitely a formation that over the last few weeks I've started to use again a lot more, and the thing is for me with this formation, it's a really fun formation to use. It's super attacking and it just encourages like fun play, and if you're someone that just wants to play FIFA and you're not bothered about results, you just want to enjoy the game, this is definitely a formation you should try. It's such a fun formation, it's so attacking. Obviously you've got a straight back four, two flat midfielders, a cam, your striker, and then two wingers. And it's as I've said many times already, it's a super attacking formation. Obviously you don't have a CDM, so there's no protection for your back four, so it can leave you a little bit open to the counter attacks. It does leave you kind of very open. You do have to make a lot of tackles with your centre backs, and you know you have to be smart with your full backs, and also your midfielders have to be the right players to fit the situation. But it's definitely a formation that if you can get right with your personnel and your tactics and your instructions, it's a formation that can be very lethal, and it's a formation that can really put people away. And obviously you can score bucket loads of goals, create loads of chances. Obviously it leaves you open to counter attacks and, you know, open to lots of attacks because you don't have a lot of cover. But it's a fun formation. As I said, if you're not bothered about results, all that stuff doesn't matter. But it's a formation you can have lots of fun with, score loads of goals with. So let's go into the instruction. So the way I found this formation was best to use, naturally I'm going to have the two fullbacks on stay back while attacking. Obviously not having a CDM means protection is kind of at a premium, and given the fact that it's already a super attacking formation with two centre mids, cam, wingers and a striker, I think you know, being sensible, you need to have the back four all on stay back while attacking. Make sure they're all kind of in position, and there's no need for the fullbacks to go and be on balance. I didn't even try them on balance because I just found so many attacks with the other players, the front six as it were, the three at the front and the three at midfield. I created so many chances with those that I didn't even need the fullbacks to go forward, so I had them on stay back while attacking, and they were always in position, they were always where I needed to be, because as I said, it's already a super attacking formation. You don't need them going forwards and exposing you and making it harder to defend than it already is quite hard to defend, given the fact that we don't have any protection in front of the back four. So stay back while attacking is the only real option there. Now moving into the midfield, now this is where I think you need to get this formation right. You can see that normally we play Alan. I've actually got that flashback Paulinho in this time around. Obviously flashback Paulinho is an amazing box-to-box midfield card. If you've got that card, you know, it's obviously a great card if you've used it. You know, very good at attacking, obviously can defend really well, got good stamina, all those good things. You know, he's a great card to have in the team. You know, kind of mirrors perfectly well with Nainggolan. That's another great card. As I said, if you've got Paulinho, Nainggolan, those sort of proper box-to-box mids that can attack and defend, they're the sorts of players you need to play in this formation, because obviously they need to attack and get forward, be able to shoot, create chances, you know, find passes, but they also need to be able to track back and defend. They need to have good stamina, you know, so there's lots of things that go into it, you know, so that's why we ended up dumping Alan out. Obviously having them on cover centre is the most important thing. You know, we don't need them covering the width, given that we've got fullbacks and we've got a winger. Stay on edge of the box was what I used for both of the midfielders, because I don't need them going into the box and making it so crazily attacking and just making counter attacks super easy. So having them on staying edge of the box, staying at around the 20-25 yard mark, they're able to pick passes through to our strikers and our cam and our wingers and create chances for those, and just kind of neutralise the counter attack a little bit, because if they're on get into the box, and obviously the wingers and whatnot will get into where they go, but you know, it's just going to make the box a little bit too crowded. So having them on staying edge of the box, just being able to patrol, and if the ball does get cleared, they're there at sort of 25-30 yards, and they're able to just recycle the ball and keep the attack going. So the midfield is super important, and obviously on attacking support we've got them on balanced attack. Now normally in these formations, you know that we like to play one of our midfielders on drop between defenders, or if we have a CDM. Now given the fact that we don't have a central midfielder, now what I mean is an actual midfielder that can just naturally drop into that back, given the fact that we've got two midfielders and they're kind of more covering sort of the central / you know, mid-central of the middle of the pitch. There's not one to slot in between the centre backs. Playing on drop between defenders is not an option when you've got two midfielders here. You know, it's only really an option if you've got a proper central midfielder that can naturally slot. Trying to force one of those players in, and you can see if we were to move one of those players into that CDM spot, just how much space it would leave where they are currently and where they would be. There would just be too much ground for, you know, one or two midfielders to cover. So naturally we're going to play on the unbalanced attack, which is why you need to have the right personnel, which is why we decided to not play Alan and go for a more sort of attacking midfielder, just a proper more balanced midfield. And you don't want specialists in these two midfield positions. Now in the attacking cam, obviously on the defensive support, whilst it's obviously a super attacking formation, I don't want to put them on stay back while attacking because it's already an attacking formation. I just want to, as I always say to you, play to the strengths of your team. So I'm going to keep them on basic defensive support. Now I don't want to put them on like stay forward or anything like that because it's just gonna not the way to play. So basic defensive support is the way to go. Get into the box for crosses is the way that we want to go for the cam, because obviously we've got the two midfielders on stay on edge of the box. So I think it's pretty natural that the cam is going to be on get into the box. Obviously Firmino's a good shooter, good finisher, so we want him to be able to get into the box and finish off those chances. Especially if you attack down the wing, you need players, you need numbers in the box to be able to finish off those chances and for those wingers to be able to pick those players out. Now the wing positions is also a pretty important position. You can see on the wing we decided to go for cut inside on the chance creation. Now we've done some wing formations before and some wide midfield positions, and for me this is an effective way to get the wingers involved. A lot of people that, you know, will ask me on when they're on their formations and tactics that they can't really get their wingers involved. This is the way that I found you to get the wingers involved. Having them on cut inside is the best way to play, because for me it forces them to make runs inside, and you'll see a few clips of that happening with Neymar and Garrincha. They're making those runs and finding their way more centrally, and given the fact that you want to score more goals, obviously you don't want them stuck out on the wing. Whilst you need width in your team to be able to kind of stretch your opponent, in the end of the day you want to be scoring goals, so you need more bodies in the middle of the pitch. And I just think, especially when you've got the quality of players that I fortunately have at my disposal, given the fact that I've got Neymar and Garrincha, I want to be able to utilise that. And the way to do that is obviously to go cut inside. They're going to make those darting runs in between fullback and centre back, and it just makes it so much easier, and it just takes more of the load off your strikers. You know, they don't have to score so much, you don't have to lean on your strikers so much, given the fact that now this is how you can get your wingers involved and scoring more. If you're someone that doesn't mind having your wingers a little bit wider, then you can obviously play on balanced width, and they're going to make a combination of runs in between the fullbacks, those cut inside runs, and sometimes staying really wide and stretching the pitch. If that's how you want to play, you can go for that. For me personally, I found cut inside was the most effective, and also for my play style, I typically play quite narrow anyway, so I like to have those players involved in the play. And on getting behind, of course, because you want to stretch the team, given the fact that if you've got pacey wingers, which you really should do if you're playing a wing formation, you should have pacey players. Obviously you want them running in behind and then get into the box as well, because we want, as we said before, we want those numbers in the box. Want to be able to score as many goals as we can. So you know, when we're looking for cutbacks, also when we're trying to play those balls through, we want players in the box to be able to finish off those chances. And then for Kylian Mbappe, for the central striker, of course going to leave them on stay central, because we've already got width in the team. We don't need to let him drift wide or anything crazy like that. We just want him to stay in the middle of the pitch, stay between the sticks, because that's where the damage is going to be done. That's where he's going to be scoring most of his goals, so we don't want him drifting wide. Of course, keep him on stay central and get him behind as well, because obviously we want to utilise that pace that he has got. So we want him to run in behind, make it easier for players like Paulinho, Firmino and Nainggolan to slide those passes in, and as I said, utilise that pace, and then you know, his finishing ability as well, and finish off those chances. Now, tactic wise, this was the tactics I actually settled upon. Now, interestingly, normally I say to you guys on the defensive style, I say to you guys, I only want to play on balance. Now, given that I wanted this formation to be a little bit of a more of an attacking / fun formation, I decided to go on pressure on heavy touch, and it was super effective. We won so many balls in the middle of the pitch. You know, you'll see a couple of examples. There were so many times, so many examples that I could have shown you of us winning the ball back in the middle of the pitch, or just some of our players stepping in front of passes and just, you know, then it countering on our opponents and instantly getting goals or getting chances. It was a super effective tactic. Obviously it has its negatives. You know, there were a couple of times that we pressed the ball, we didn't win the ball back, and it left us exposed, and we did concede a couple of goals / couple of chances from that. So that's what it's going to do. You know, that's the whole point. It's a risk reward tool, but it's still a good tactic to use if you're someone that wants to play, you know, quite an attacking style of FIFA. Other thing that obviously is quite a negative towards it is it does drain your stamina quite a lot. What I found was quite effective is I would use pressure on heavy touch. If, for example, at half time I was 2-0 up in a game, I then would typically maybe turn the defensive style back to balanced and move it back to balanced, because I didn't need to play on the press anymore because I was obviously dominating the game. But if you're someone that just wants to keep pressure on heavy touch, you don't mind if your players are tired, you can sub on players, then you can do that. But I actually found this was quite a useful tactic, especially with this formation. Using that 4-3-3 was really effective. Width-wise, I wanted to have 6 on the defense. Obviously, we've got quite a good attacking formation. You know, it's already pretty wide in terms of the fact that we've got wingers. So I think 6th width was pretty good, given the fact that it is quite a wide formation. Depth-wise, I wanted to leave it on 5. You know, I didn't want to go too deep, of course, or too high up. Long ball on the offensive style, again, utilising those pacey players we've got up front. We want to make those runs in behind. Long ball is the defensive style we always use. And pretty much everything else is standard. Players in the box is probably the only other thing to mention. Given the fact that we've got on the instructions our players to get into the box and stuff like that, you don't want to move that too much because then they're going to ignore the instructions you've set. But overall, this formation for me was really good fun to use. It was so many chances created, it was so attacking, you know, it was just really free-flowing football. And even if a guy is playing quite deep, because obviously you leave a lot of space open yourself because you don't have a lot of cover back, it forces your opponent to be aggressive and attack you as well, and then it's going to leave more space. And you would often find a lot of end-to-end games, and you get a lot of shootout games, you know, where the games end 5-4, stuff like that. So if you want to play a really attacking, offensive style of FIFA, these tactics and instructions will be perfect for you. And I actually had a lot of fun using this formation. It was really good fun, and definitely a great formation and instructions to use. But that is it for the video, guys. So if you do want to see any more formations, as you know you guys do, let me know in the comment section and we will get around to making all of your guys' suggestions. I want to just say a massive thank you for all the support you've given us recently. Obviously, you've given us some incredible support, you know, on the videos, liking every video and turning up and watching every video. The support from you guys has been absolutely mental. So I just want to say a massive thank you to all of you guys that have subbed and that do enjoy the content. You guys are amazing. But that is it for the video, guys. Thank you for watching. I'm out.